Welcome to this fourth lesson on situation ethics, where we're going to look at the 6 fundamentals of situation ethics and Fletcher's understanding of Christian love. Now, if we start with what the word love means, in English we use that very vaguely to mean a variety of different things. So we might say something like, I love fish and chips, I love my wife, I love my mum, and hopefully we mean a different type of love for all those 3 different examples, but we'd use the same word. In Greek, that wasn't the case. There was a huge variety of different words to describe different types of love. There was storge, which was family love, philos, which is the love of concepts or ideas, eros, which is sexual love, and the one that Fletcher focuses on is agape, and he says that Christian love is unconditional love or divine love. So when we talk about love during this lesson and in situation ethics in general, it's not the types of love you see on the screen now, but a very specific type of love, agape. And in the examination, you should be very clear to specify that it's agape and not other types of love. So moving on to the 6 principles, you can see them written out here. I'm going to discuss them in turn, but you should pause this video whenever you can to read the text. So the first one says that the only one thing is intrinsically good, and that's love. So lying is not intrinsically bad, it's not intrinsically good, it's a potential option. Telling the truth is not intrinsically bad or intrinsically good. It's a potential option. The only thing that's intrinsically good is love. Now, this is quite a shocking thing to say. It would seem to legitimize things like murder, theft. I've already given the example of lying. Also, we might say that several things are intrinsically good. Whereas situation ethics is just saying, no, there is one aim, one telos, one purpose, one principle, and that is love. That's all. The second principle is that the ruling norm of Christian decision-making is love, nothing else. Now, again, this is quite shocking because Fletcher is saying that love replaces the law. There's nothing else we need to think about. There's not a huge set of commandments that we must follow or a rigid set of legalistic ethics. No, there's just one ruling norm, one guiding principle, love. Principle number 3, love and justice are the same, for justice is love distributed, nothing else. So this is a claim that to act justly is just to spread love out. The fourth principle is that love wills the neighbour's good whether we like him or not. And this links back to this understanding of love as agape. We normally think of love as a kind of extreme form of liking, but for Fletcher that's not the case. Love is selfless, and his understanding of love, agapeistic love, is that it's discerning and critical, not sentimental. A good example of this would be Martin Luther King Jr., who didn't think it was appropriate to say that he liked his oppressors, the KKK, amongst others, but would still say that he loved them. The fifth principle is that only the end justifies the means and nothing else. This is in direct contrast to other forms of Christian ethical decision-making, such as Roman Catholic ethics, which say that the consequences are irrelevant. We can't do a bad thing to get a good result. Fletcher takes a step back from this and says, why not? The only purpose, the only way that an action is deemed as right or wrong is the consequences. If the consequences are bad, don't do the action. If the consequences are good, do the action. In fact, it's the only thing that justifies acting. It's consequences. So for Fletcher, the end does justify the means, Otherwise, what's the point in acting in the first place? And the final principle is the situation principle, that love decides there and then. So this is a key tenet, a key idea in situation ethics, that we can't come up with prefabricated moral solutions. I've tried to show that with the house on the right hand side of the screen being made beforehand and just slotted into place. Fletcher says that might work for houses, but it's definitely not going to work for ethics. Each ethical situation is distinct and unique and different, and so love must decide there and then. So, in summary, these are the 6 principles. You must learn them, you must know them by heart for the examination. They are very, very simple. And this theory, the whole of situation ethics, can be summed up in the 4 presuppositions and the 6 principles. There is not an awful lot to go on. As Fletcher says, this is not really a substantive ethic, but a method, a way of approaching moral problems. And we can see when we get onto evaluating situation ethics that this is probably going to be its major strength and also its major weakness.